Hey everyone, this is London Bridge Bricks. In my second in the series, PoPPin Polybags, I'll be taking a look at set number 30006, the Clone Walker. Now, this came out back in 2009. It comes with one minifigure, 30 pieces, and retailed for £4. So, that's the brief. Let's go take a closer look. So here he is then. I've got to be honest, not too much has really changed since 2009. You know, you've got a very similar design going on in the background there. They've done away obviously with the greebling. That's kind of a new thing. And you've got these clone troopers here, the phase 1 clone troopers. I think they're looking pretty good. And what makes this quite special for me is not only is it a cool polybag, but it is of course my first ever phase 1 clone trooper, which I'm particularly excited about getting, because quite often with these Star Wars magazines that I get and review, quite often you'll get a kind of a walker with them or something like that, or of course you get a minifigure. So that's what I kind of like about polybags. That to me is the big distinguishing difference between them, is that you do tend to get more with a polybag. That said, as you know, recently, especially with the Lego City magazines, you do tend to get quite a lot more in the foil bags of those ones. Maybe it's a licensing thing, I don't know, but let me know in the comments below what you think about the difference between a foil bag and a poly bag. But anyway, on the front we've got ourselves this clone trooper whizzing around. He's obviously in some battle or other, and he looks like he's being chased by something or other. He's running off with his walker. But I'm particularly interested about how they've got the articulation there with the legs in this, because quite often, especially with some of these new ATSTs, you don't get a lot of articulation in them, a bit like with some of these big mechs. You think they'd be like super articulated with all their ball joints and all that kind of stuff, but very seldomly you do. But on the back, yeah, not too much going on in the back here. You can see some of the bits and pieces inside there. I know some people that I've heard of actually build their sets inside the polybag, so they don't actually have to take the polybag out or anything like that. Which I mean, that must take blooming ages. But if you've ever actually put a set together inside a polybag without actually taking the set out, let me know in the comments below as well. I might need to try that one day. But anyway, so that's the outside really. Not kind of too much on the go there. I think it's time to pop it open and see what's on the inside. So as always then, let's kick off with the instructions. Look at them, they're tightly packed. It's almost like they've pulled these out of a cracker or something, isn't it? Mind you saying that, I wouldn't mind getting a Lego set out of crackers. I wonder if anyone's ever, Lego has actually ever designed such a thing. It'd be great, wouldn't it? It'd be really popular, I would have thought. Anyway, I'm definitely going to be getting the new advent calendars this year. I think they look absolutely cracking. But here we go. It's a pretty straightforward set, isn't it? Just made up of all those 30 pieces. Oh, look at those sets that were out then. Oh yeah, that's the Alvenita set. I'm liking that. Oh, that's one thing about looking at these old instructions. You get to look back at some really old sets that were out in the day. But that set today, oh, that really goes for quite a lot of money on the second-hand market. And then we've got an early looking Y-wing as well. That's cracking, isn't it? Liking that. Set 8037. It's fantastic. But yeah, what I love about these is just the instructions. They're so basic. But yeah, that's cool. That's going to probably take me all of a couple of minutes to put together. Let's have a look, see if there's any particular special pieces here. Well, you've got these sections here. This is what kind of give it its articulation. These kind of modified 1x2 plates over here with hinged pieces on them. There's quite a few of those actually. And then we've got these kind of stop sign pieces as well. They're quite useful. And then of course, that's fantastic, isn't it? Look at that. I love it. Helmet there, and there's his face, which actually isn't an angry clone. Maybe I'll talk about that in the review in just a moment. Okay then, well look, that's the set. I think it's time to just put it all together and then continue the review after that. So what do you know then? just 30 pieces gives you an absolute bundle of articulation. Honestly, I have built some absolute stonkingly massive mechs, especially recently, and I've got to say, I mean, I've built mechs that have, and walkers that, you know, with miles more pieces than this, you know, hundreds more pieces than this. But I've got to say, for 30 pieces, these limbs, these legs on this walker are absolutely chock-a-block full of articulation. Look at that, look. You can look down like that, or you can even fire upwards like this. So you have to do some sort of ground to air assault or something like that. Look at that. You've got all that articulation in that, which is of course all comes by just using a combination of these 1x2 plates with these shafts that go across there that all clip in to these upward holders there. I think it's brilliant. I honestly do. I'm absolutely, you know, sometimes when you build something, you sort of think, this is miles better than I thought it was going to be. I thought the star of this polybag was going to be the clone trooper, the phase 1 clone trooper, but it turns out, well, for me anyway, it's actually the walker. Anyway, let's keep looking around the walker, especially while he's perched in there as well at the moment. You've got this cool looking cannon at the front there. Nice use of the lightsaber hilt. I think that looks quite nice. I'm liking the bonnet as well on this, or the front shielding. That's kind of, that comes about. You've got this rocker brick in there and perched in there and wedged in there. You've got this rocker plate that just does that. So it kind of becomes a, well, not really a windshield as such. It's just more of a front shielding for him really, just to kind of protect him from all those laser blasts. And then he kind of maneuvers it, drives it, pilots it, whatever you want to call it, using these two antennas there that make up pretty good looking joysticks for him as well. But I think it's quite cool. I like the use as well of the different colors. Of course, Star Wars being Star Wars, you've always got this this bluish gray that runs throughout the Star Wars sets. And then you've got these sort of tanned beige bricks that kind of just break it up a little bit really. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's very smart, in fact. So let's pop him out there and let's park this just over there. There we go. So anyway, the phase 1 clone trooper, my first one. And what do I think of it? Well, I can understand completely why people out there absolutely adore these figures. I've got to say, they look really good. For me, the strength in this minifigure comes in the helmet. I think his helmet is, well, it's quite special if I'm honest. I love the front mask on it, but I've got to say, for me, the brilliant bit that sticks out for me is this section here that goes across the top of the head. I think it looks brilliant. It's kind of reminiscent really of something like Flash Gordon from back in the 50s or something like that. It's just real proper retro science fiction. And I wonder if that was something that George Lucas was trying to do, or if that was in his mindset, his thoughts when they were designing these first phase 1 troopers. I've got to say, they look good, don't they? Let's start on the back, then on the torso. Of course, that's reminiscent, isn't it, of a stormtrooper. I've got to say though, look at the print. Look how strong that print is. Maybe it's just me, but it just looks so much more bolder than prints are these days of stormtroopers. And then around the front there, it's continued on as well. You've got this nice print across the belt, and of course, you've got this nice torso shielding as well. I mean, it's really nice armor in it, really is. It's really cool. But that's pretty much where it finishes, isn't it? There's no side printing. There's certainly no side printing on the legs. There's no printing on the legs, full stop, actually. But also, that's quite nice though, the way they've kind of broken it all up with the black gloves and the black hip section there. Now, the surprise to me, as well as having a cool looking armor, was the face. I was expecting an angry clone. So I don't know if that was a thing, folks, but please do let me know in the comments below. Back in 2009, was angry clones not really a thing? Because I'm pretty certain that this face is something, well, it reminds me of the Mandalorian, the pre-Vizsla figure. It's similar anyway. It might not be exactly it, but was this the default stormtrooper, clone trooper face back in the day? I don't know, you see, because back then, and certainly in 2009 anyway, I was going through my Lego Dark Ages. But anyway, this is a nice surprise. I've got to say, I think he's a cool looking figure. He really is. And it's my first one as well, so it's quite cool. And he's really different to a stormtrooper. especially the new types of Stormtrooper that we've got out there, with the helmets vastly bigger than this. And at least the nice thing with this one, you can actually turn his head. So yeah, all in kind of dexterity and maneuverability and articulation is definitely the key words for me in this set. But I've got to say though, all in, I really enjoyed this. I think that the experience of actually building it was very good. There's a couple of, you used all these hinges and for that articulation. It actually teaches you a little bit how things work, especially in the structure of things. You get some decent movement there, especially, being able to, because the main thing is just being able to put the legs one in front of the other, so you get some kind of simulated walk motion. And then of course on top of that, on top of this cool looking AT-RT Walker, you've got this rather spiffing looking minifigure as well. I've got to say, all in, it was an easy build. It was a fun build. Either way, I'm glad I built it. Thank you as always for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you know of any polybags that you would like to see me review on the channel, let me know in the comments below. Now you can follow the channel on Instagram and Twitter. And if you're new around here, why not hop on and subscribe and become a big part of the LBB family. I'll leave you now with some videos that I think you might like.